Kira Van Voort, Project Manager, Community Connection at CSV Training and Enterprise North East, and the work with asylum seekers. Kira.
It's always a privilege to talk to many new faces about the work that we do at Community Connection. My name is Kira. I'm a project manager of a project within CSV Training and Enterprise North East. Community Connection is designed to help asylum seekers and refugees overcome many of the barriers to social inclusion by becoming involved in community-based volunteering. The project does this by specifically enabling and supporting men and women who are asylum seekers and refugees to become involved in the community, learning new skills and developing their own skills. And as many of us who may be volunteers in this room know, that volunteering brings a whole range of benefits, a feel-good factor, getting out of the house, and delivering and being useful again, which many of our men and women have been unable to do since they've left their countries and their homes. The project offers unique support and personal development packages to individuals, helping them to introduce them to and sustain them in the learning environment of volunteering. We help asylum seekers, we help refugees, we help Section 4 failed asylum seekers. We don't close our doors to anybody. The individual personal development packages can include ESOL, numeracy and literacy, technical skills to enable them to volunteer, such as IT, Nucleate, ECDL, communication skills, presentation skills, self-awareness, feedback, learning about UK culture. For example, Rehab here. Rehab came from Ethiopia and had 8 languages when she came into the UK. She didn't count English as amongst one of those, although she could communicate with us. I want to cook and look after others who have nothing, is what she said in her interview to me. So we thought, well, what can we do to help her to do that? So Community Connection paid for Rehab's childcare so that she could come into our ESOL classes. We did individual one-to-one confidence building until she was ready to join a class. Her desire to cook meant she needed to have basic food hygiene, but didn't have the English to do that. So we set her up with a buddy in the classroom environment and facilitated that was acceptable to do so. And Rehab's now working as a pharmacist, which is their old business, and we helped her onto that project. This is Babette. Babette is an asylum seeker, unlike Rehab is a refugee. She said, I want to be busy and get my confidence back after the birth of my daughter. She wanted to volunteer in an office because she was used to being in a travel agent when she was answering the phone and dealing with clients and paying out money and fixing computers all at the same time, quite a multitasker. Babette's now involved in volunteering with CSV, helping me to run the project. She now volunteers with the Citizens Advice Bureau and, as you can see, in schools. And this is Lillian. Lillian is from Congo and said, I want to be busy, maybe do something artistic, and with people who need a bit of looking after. So, although she had English fluently, she didn't have pronunciation. And Lillian worked with Wendy on a one-to-one ESOL course, just focusing on pronunciation, because that's what she wanted to do. We put her through an art course, and she was art volunteering with people with learning difficulties, helping them to develop. Group volunteering is something we do a great deal of, which is about using your English. It's about giving a valued and recognised contribution, learning new skills, using your own, making new friends, being out and about. For example, one of these gentlemen spent a lot of time in his country out on farmland, and to suddenly go from the plains of his country to being in a small flat in Baika, he found that incredibly constricting and had knocked his confidence. So to be out and about, he thought was fantastic. And he then went on, Garel then went on to volunteer with the Northumberland Wildlife Trust, so out of the north of Northumberland. It's about being busy again, and it's about having fun. We work with many hard-to-reach adults, enabling them to overcome barriers so that they can develop skills and confidence. Of the 125 men and women we've supported in the last 18 months, 66% of those have gone on to produce positive outcomes of a further qualification they weren't already involved in, volunteering in mainstream volunteering of their own accord, or employment. And I believe our success at Community Connection can be accredited to looking at the needs of the individual and building a package of learning to meet this, and listening to the learner. What does that learner need? Now, I can't stand in front of you today and bamboozle you with lots of long words, but I can say that Community Connection is back to basics. What technical skills do that person want to learn? What environment do they learn best in? A small group, a classroom, a volunteering environment? Do they need a one-to-one buddy? We can provide volunteers to help them do that. How much English does that person have? Can we pair them initially with another ESOL student or another volunteer who shares English and also understands the asylum process? How much practical support does and also understands the asylum process? How much practical support does that person need? Childcare, more time, patience, understanding. We're very aware that people who've come to claim asylum are for one of the most vulnerable groups in society, and this could affect a person in many ways. They've been through the utmost trauma. They're probably living in dreadful living conditions. They're not allowed to work whilst they're an asylum seeker. And they've just been through an unimaginable hell. Some may have a fear of authority. Some will have a fear of someone in a suit. So it affects everything that we do, our office environment, our learning environment, what we wear, the welcomes that we have when you come in the door. But CSV as a whole, and Community Connection particularly, is about overcoming barriers and practical help and support to help people realise their own potential and help real people. Thank you very much.